The way I see it, Lucha Libre is the same everywhere. Cassandro is an Amazon original written and directed by Roger Ross Williams, who's done projects like Stand From the Beginning, Love to Love You Donna Summer, and others as well. Also written by David Teague, who's done projects like The Departure. Check out the respective IMDb pages for the full listings of their work. And this tells the story of Cassandro, the alter ego of Saul, a young man that's trying to make it big in the wrestling scene, is working small shows in El Paso, living with his mother, working these shows in auto shops. I'm not even kidding. I mean, it's actually insane to think that they run wrestling shows there, but a lot of independent promotions run shows in, rinky-dink places like that. They have to make do, they want to draw, they want to grow bigger and everything, and that shined a pretty good light on the independent wrestling scene, and the fact that Lucha Libre is massive. It's still massive to this very day. I mean, you think about all the historical figures that have populated, Lucha Libre in Mexico, that have branched over here. Mil Mascaras, El Santo, goes El Santo, go, El Santo, go. El Santo for MST3K fans. Samson versus the Vampire Women. And, just think about it, like Gory Guerrero. And since it's in El Paso, this is getting a little bit deep for people that maybe aren't that passionate wrestling fans. What's great about this is it just gives so much history. Like, even if it's just little tidbits, it also shows that El Paso still even has, like a really, really big, population of massive, massive wrestling fans. And being Lucha Libre and everything, you can either be a Rudo or a Technico. Rudo, bad. Technico, good. And some wear a mask, some don't. The mask is very popular in Lucha Libre. You don't unmask, you don't take your mask off. Your mask is your identity. If only Eric Bischoff in WCW would realize that before he unmasked Rey Mysterio. And made Rey Mysterio look like the kid that he still kind of looks like, even though he's approaching 50. But yeah, back to El Paso. You have Gory Guerrero, who, homestead and promoted in El Paso, and the Guerreros, the historical nature of the Guerrero name in wrestling. You have Chavo Guerrero before there was Chavo Guerrero Jr., just Chavo Guerrero, not Chavo Sr., Chavo Classic, whatever you want to go with, who worked in L.A. and had that feud with Roddy Piper. Roddy Piper playing the Mexican national anthem on the bagpipes, except he played La Cucaracha and said, "Here come the chairs that were bolted down, whoop, night never got started." How he didn't die during that, I'll never know. But San Diego, like San Francisco, Eddie Guerrero winning the WWE Championship from Brock Lesnar nearly 20 years ago. We're approaching the 20-year anniversary as of this recording, where, Goldberg speared Bork and did all that, but he won it in front of his mother and that. And fuck, I miss Eddie Guerrero to this very day. Fuck. So this just made his historical stuff, like as far as me being a passionate wrestling fan, just bubble up. And I was so happy to see this. I had meant to see this a few months ago when it first came out, and time got away from me. I was just busy with other projects and with work and stuff like that. But I finally decided before I wrap this up in a nice neat little bow and close off reviewing films for 2023, just before I do my end of year movie list, I decide I'm going to talk about this particular one. So the plot basically is his life. It's Saul working at an auto shop, a detail shop. He's working, as a job guy, essentially under a mask. Job guy meaning a guy that just, basically does the job, takes the pin and stuff like that. But he has bigger dreams. He's also known as El Topo. There's a lot of stuff there. And the rampant homophobia in this, and I've talked to a few friends, one particular friend of mine that lives in San Antonio that knows much more about the historical nature of Lucha Libre than I do. I mean, I'm aware of enough of it, but he knows more about that as far as the Hispanic culture and how, there's a lot of it's a religious connotation, like, just the amount of homophobia and everything. There are words said here I'm not going to say, but they were chanting a lot of things. Because that's one thing. Yeah, we can't stand somebody that's dressed up. An exotico, by the way, Cassandro is an exotico character that he comes up with that is a man dressed in drag. And the fans call bullshit and start chanting a whole bunch of homophobic stuff because, god damn it, this stuff where men are dressed in tights, grinding down and trying to submit and tangle with each other. We can't have gay people in that. That's the craziest thing about the fact that we can't. There's some fans still don't want gay people in wrestling. And it's like, have you seen what the fuck we watch? I've watched this stuff since Warcell Score 85. Just saying. Let's accept people as they are. Let's accept people as they are. And if they're creeps, regardless of whether they're straight, LGBTQ, it doesn't matter. If they're creeps, get the fuck out. Let's accept people if they're good people, regardless of their fucking lifestyle. And it had a pretty good cast in it, I'll say that much. You had Roberto Colindres, who plays Sabrina, who is fucking beautiful. I just want to say she also wrestles a little bit. And it populates with various characters that interacted with Saul during his life. Yocasta, played by Perea de la Rosa. I had to write some of these names down, even though I'm pretty certain I'm butchering the pronunciation. You had Joaquin Casio, who played Lorenzo. He is a promoter. And you also had a love interest, Gerardo, played by Raul Castillo, who actually, I wish they'd fleshed his character out a little bit more. I could have watched more of this movie. It's a breezy 107 minutes, and that's with 7 or 8 minutes of credits. And also, it had Bad Bunny himself, yeah, who had to play somebody that said he, didn't really understand Lucha Libre or that kind of stuff. He was kind of dismissive of the idea. The same guy that's been on WrestleMania 37 was in the 2022 Royal Rumble and was part of a match in Puerto Rico against Damian Priest. They had one of the loudest fucking crowd reactions I've heard for an entrance in years. It was kind of cool to see Bad Bunny in this. And also the son of El Santo, El Hijo del Santo. And there were others in this as well. I mean, I'm sure there were people on the scene that I just didn't recognize, but they actually got the son of Santo to be in this. There was... The main issues I have with this is it kind of pulls back on some of the stuff that he went through. And I'm not saying you need to make it a total downer piece, because he did have a redemption story and kept wrestling. He was born in, I think the real guy was born in 1970, had issues in 91, tried to take his own life, and other stuff happened, but he overcame addiction, stuff like that, and came back to wrestling. Actually wrestled, I think, till 2017. And to be perfectly honest, it's a hell of a story. It's a hell of a goddamn story. And I think Roger Ross Williams did the best job he could here as far as telling a feature-length piece. He did do a short documentary on the life of the Exotico. And this balances well enough the outside the ring life and the inside the ring life. And it does a good job there. Good casting, well worked. As far as the way it was a love letter to Lucha Libre. And the match, it just showed how fucking hard the rings were and stuff like that, and just some of the bumps they would take. And Bernal did a great job here. A great fucking job. And a lot of really good acting, a lot of really good pieces. I am going to get into spoilers, even though it's not really a movie you can fucking spoil, but I just wanted to talk a little bit about the history of wrestling. And what are your favorite memories of Lucha Libre? What are some matches I should check out? Are there some other movies I should check out? I would love to know. It is on Amazon if you want to check it out. If you have an Amazon account, or Amazon, Prime account, you can actually get this for free, and it's 100% worth it. Again, not perfect. I have some issues. It, again, pulls back from a few too many things that they could have expanded on, and there are a couple moments where it's like, okay, they maybe didn't need to show that, but it told a story well enough that I absolutely can recommend this, and it gets a very high grade that I'll talk about in the spoilers. But yeah, it's on Amazon if you want to check it out. I'm going to get into spoilers, so just so you know, not a movie you can really spoil, but nevertheless, that's it. 1, 2, 3 spoilers. Okay, did count that down wrong, but nevertheless, in the beginning there was rap, as our Lord and Savior Dr. Dre once said. I did enjoy how they had Bruno, or Saul, walking, to the venue and everything, the auto shop. He was getting treated like a job guy by this El Giganto, I believe was the name of the guy. The spot calling was so goddamn loud, even John Cena said, "What the fuck are you doing?" The rampant homophobia was just nuts, absolutely nuts, but also not surprising after talking to a couple people, particularly the aforementioned friend in San Antonio. It doesn't disrespect wrestling. It's a love letter to it. And Sabrina offers to train Saul because she sees potential. He wants to get better. She suggests he becomes an exotico, dress and drag, all that stuff. The mother, by the way, is accepting of the fact that he actually is gay. And he does have a boyfriend, that's Gerardo. The thing is that's revealed later that Gerardo actually is a guy who's married with children, and they just nail each other when the wife and kids are away. So the men will play with each other. There's nothing wrong with that, by the way, but maybe, nothing wrong if you want to be yourself, but maybe, whatever. I mean, it's, can't really say anything about the cheating thing among wrestlers, because if I do, then I kind of got to knock some of my favorites. But anyway, Gerardo also wrestles, and the mother basically ends up blaming Saul for the fact that the father is no longer there. It turns out the father actually is a player and has a lot of kids, and introduced him to wrestling. Actually, there's some old footage of El Santo, the original Santo, and it's so fucking cool to see that, even though it's maybe 30 seconds of that shit. That is the kind of stuff I love. That's why I'm so glad that stuff exists, because that's cool as fuck. I would love to have been there. What a fucking atmosphere. And then Sabrina, workshops the whole thing with Saul. They come up with the idea that, hey, he's going to be exotico. He's going to win. They did this stuff where, that didn't end up going all that well. At one point, there was a Gigantico, the same guy that he wrestled before. Press slammed him to the goddamn floor. It was a pretty good bump, and it looked pretty goddamn vicious. Lorenzo enters the scene. Does basically says, let me take you some places. He did say the line I said in the beginning, the way I see it, Lucha Libre is the same everywhere. I don't think that's entirely true. I could be wrong, but whatever. Maybe there are people that like different styles. I mean, they have to do all those flips and stuff like that and everything in those rolls because those rings are really, really hard. And Call Me by Blondie played him to the ring. I think it was a Hispanic version, but still. The mom she's not happy with Saul because she sees that he's getting the fame and she wants him to succeed, but he's not always being there for her, even though he's trying to balance the stuff. He wants to succeed because he wants to get his mom a new house. He wants to get his mom a happier life and everything because she's worked so hard for him and has supported him. Then there's this one point where this one guy didn't want to lose to an exotico. This other guy entered the fray. Apparently, you can just fucking do that in Lucha Libre. And he took the pin. So it was double the pay the promoter offered if they did that. Yeah, exoticos are supposed to be heat magnets. Because again, homophobia. And yeah, things don't go that well with Gerardo because he likes him, he loves him, but he can't abandon his wife and kids, even though you're getting... Again, whatever, just be yourself. Anyway, it's fine. The bond between the mother and son character, really nice, really nice. Unfortunately, she does pass. She does pass because she gets ill. That was pretty goddamn sad. It was well told. I mean, it was sort of glossed over, but told just enough to where you got the idea. And the acting was pretty good here. And Bernal doing a great job. La Rosa, who played the mother, very good as well. And he gets this offer to go wrestle in Arena Mexico against the Son of Santo. So Sabrina goes with him. Gerardo won't go with him because he's got the wife and kids. And he's hoping that the dad will watch him. He's hoping that his dad will watch him, even though his dad doesn't want anything to do with him once he came out, even though he should have been able to tell and whatever. Accept your children, even if they're gay. What the fuck? Why is that even a debate? If you can't do that, then you shouldn't have children. So the Arena Mexico shots are really goddamn cool. He does kind of have some flashbacks and everything under the bright lights, and he's not doing all that well. He's kind of wrenching on Son of Santo's arm a little bit too much. But he ends up running out of the goddamn arena, but then running up and staying on the goddamn banister, or, the railing and everything, and then does a dive and dives into the crowd. They catch him, and they carry him back to the ring. The referee could have counted to like 100 by the 100, as it were, and that didn't work. Whatever. They were chanting either ruda or gay slurs. I'm not necessarily certain. I'm not up on my Spanish. It's not my week to really care. And El Santo, Son of Santo wins, but celebrates with him, carries him up on his shoulders. Hey, you're my respect. Da, da. So from there, Saul is at the bar. He talks to Gerardo. Gerardo's like, if I don't break it off, then my wife's going to take the kids. She's probably going to take it already everywhere because you can't keep it in your goddamn pants because you may love your wife, but whatever. So then we get to Son of Santos talk show. Cassandro's on there talking about this, talking about all the inspiration, everything, how his mom inspired him. This young lad in the audience says, I was inspired by you to come out to my dad, and dad's supportive. That inspires him to go talk to his dad, and his dad's like, I wish I could change who the hell I was, not be the person I was. And he said, not me. He's like, I'm just going to go be myself. And he's in the ring again, Arena Mexico, still succeeding, and scene. Yeah, it glosses over the drug stuff. It does show him doing drugs a couple times with Bad Bunny. And it is what it is. I'm not knocking. If you can overcome addiction, that's great. But it ends up being mostly a great love letter to Lucha Libre. And it gets an A-. Again, a couple issues, but mostly pretty goddamn good as far as a wrestling movie. So, agree, disagree with what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ricklin. I'll see you soon.